I'm making this video today to kind of clarify what I said last night. I know it was a quick video, about 3 minutes. I do want to go into more detail just because I haven't seen a lot of videos about the protests in Indianapolis. Being there, I feel like I can let you guys know what really happened. The media, I haven't seen a lot of covering other than in Indianapolis. Like I said, so I did want to clarify some of the things that I said last night, go into a little bit more detail, let you guys know exactly what happened. So let's start from the beginning. So I got downtown about 4 o'clock, about an hour before the protest started, get a parking spot, whatever. So when I got there to the State House in Indianapolis about 4:25, there was about 40 people there. And the protest started at 5. I thought, wow, we're not going to have anyone show up. But it filled up quick. I've seen numbers of 500, but I think that was later in the night when a lot of people had gone home. The event page on Facebook said 2,600, but I feel like we had more than that. I can't give you an estimate for the number because I really don't know. Like I said, we'll go from the beginning. We got there. We started out with a lot of chanting. Different things, just chanting for a while, actually. I would say a good 20-25 minutes of nothing but chanting at the State House. And then we had our first speaker come up, and they finished their thing, and then we chant. And then the next speaker, and then we chant. And at the beginning, everything was very peaceful. No one was doing anything crazy. Nothing bad happened. The one thing that I think really caused this protest to go not as planned was about halfway through the speakers. We had a couple Trump supporters show up, which they were free to be there. However, a lot of people didn't like that. They were quiet, respectful, they didn't say a whole lot, but the people around just didn't like them being there. So we chanted Love Trump's hate over and over and over again, and that chant probably 5 minutes until they left. And then I'm not sure if it was the same Trump supporters that showed up or different ones. They were sitting in a pickup truck on the road, honking and yelling stuff. And that's when it got bad. We had a couple people in masks to cover their face there. I'm not sure about you guys, but the mask to me seemed unnecessary. Seemed like it was intimidating when it didn't need to be. And sadly, the people in the mask took off towards the truck at one point. I couldn't really see what happened because I was on the other side, but I do know they took off towards the truck, and they ended up coming back. So I'm not sure what happened. I don't think there was any kind of violence or any kind of harm or any physical altercation that happened there. But they did go after him, which obviously isn't a good look, if that makes any sense, for a peaceful protest. And then about, I don't know, probably 15-20 minutes after that, we were still having our speakers, and some of the speakers started to get more and more aggressive in what they were saying, more and more hostile, more and more anti-government, as opposed to anti-Trump or protesting Trump or anything like that. It was more anti-government, anti-authority. At one point there was "fuck the police" chants, and thankfully the organizers were able to snuff that out pretty quick. The police that were at the rally did a fantastic job. They were there, made sure nothing crazy happened. So about 3/4 of the way through, there was a group of Black Lives Matter protesters that were there, and they went on a march first. After the whole Trump supporters and the guys in the masks going after them, they left, and they started chanting and walking around and marching. I stayed with the speakers. Had a lot of people. A lot of people stayed with the speakers. And then after the speakers were finally done, which took forever, like I said, it got more and more hostile. The speakers were arguing with the organizers about what they were saying, and it just got very, very ugly very, very quick. Um, so after we went to start marching, um, I, a lot of people left. I can't say a lot because it was still a huge march, a ton of people. But I would say maybe an eighth of the people left. So we went and we marched in the roads and went from the State House to the Circle and back. And then on the way back from the Circle, people stopped on Washington Street, the main street in Indianapolis, and blocked the intersection. Um, and the police were able to disperse that, and people were very courteous and didn't fight them that much the first time around. We got, and then, so my friend and I who went to the march together, we realized that we weren't going to get out of downtown for a while, so we didn't even go to our car. We just stayed with the march, whatever. And then the guy said, okay, we're all going back to the State House. So we went back to the State House and stood around 5-10 minutes or something. And then when we decided to march again, that's when things got much more heated, much more intense. A lot of emotion was brought out. And when we went back to marching, everyone was in the streets. The police asked for us to be on the sidewalks, but we didn't adhere to their commands. When we went to Washington again, because we marched all over the place, I bet we marched the second time for, I don't know, 25-30 minutes just marching all over Indianapolis. We did block cars in. I'm not happy about that. I'm not a proponent of that. I'm sorry to anyone that was sitting in those cars and had places to go, places to be. Surprisingly enough, though, most of the people in the cars that I noticed, they were with us. They had their hands up, giving people high fives, had their windows down, or chanting out the windows with us. There were a few people that were not happy with the situation, but that's to be expected. So we finally ended up coming back to Washington Street, back to the same spot that we had blocked before. And I'm not sure if I was late to it, because I was probably about halfway through the march, and we came around the corner there, and I saw people people blocking the streets. And when I got up there, it just seemed like the tension rose 100 times. Before, they just had cops on the ground trying to get people out of the way. Eventually the horses came in. That's when things got really hairy. The horses were there and people refused to move. And then I heard what I thought was rubber bullet crowd control. I'm not sure if that's what it was, but it sounded like a gunshot. And then I was like, oh crap, okay, this is getting serious. And I was still pretty far back at this point, behind a lot of people. And then I saw mace, pepper spray, whatever you want to call it. It came out, and I saw the cloud of the pepper spray. And me and my friend were like, okay, we're out of here. And then everyone started sprinting backwards away from the cops. And then we got to like a rally point, if that makes any kind of sense. And then we approached it again. And then at this point, me and my friend were like, okay, we're out of this. And we went and stood on the sidewalk and watched. At this point, we're out of the protest. And just spectators at this point. And then I remember, as soon as we got to the sidewalk, I looked back to the area of tension where the cops and the protesters met. And I remember seeing them arrest a girl. They pulled her across the line and arrested her. And then, of course, that brought on the chants of, shame on you, things like that. And then when they pepper sprayed again, things just got out of hand, completely out of hand. At this point, I'm not standing on the sidewalk anymore. I'm off in a courtyard somewhere watching. I can still hear what they're chanting, but I can't hear any kind of dialogue between the cops and the protesters at this point. So I'm standing there, and my buddy's like, okay, they had the detours open. So that's when we were like, okay, we're out of here. Said bye to the people we'd met, the people that were peaceful. The people that were peaceful were still there, and I can't stress this enough. People were telling them, not only the cops, the other protesters were telling them over and over again to get out of the street, get out of the street. This is peaceful. This is peaceful. But I don't know. The people that were still staying in the street, probably 25, 35 people strong. The majority of the people were not in the street. So. Anyway, like I said, I just want to let you guys know what I saw, what happened, in my opinion. I don't want to say it got violent, rowdy maybe, but I'm not sure if violent was the right word. There was no destruction of property. According to the Indianapolis Police Department, there were 2 officers injured from people throwing stones. I only saw 1 stone thrown at the cops, so who knows. There were 3 arrests made, according to the Indianapolis Police Department's Twitter. And so I just wanted to let you guys know, give you guys more details. I know the one last night was quick and not very detailed, so I wanted to let you guys know a little bit more. Let us know what you think of me doing this. Like I said, Emily's not here again. She's still hanging out with her dad, so hopefully the next video will be something exciting, something different, maybe a review, something like that. Let us know what you guys want to see. I know challenges are big. We've never done anything like that, so we'd be open to it. So yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.